Record. All right, welcome everybody. I am so excited, like I said, to chat with you all about gut health tonight. I know that this is such an important and pressing topic. Many of us are just starting to realize how gut health actually impacts our overall health and wellness. So really quickly, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Calie Calabrese, and I have been a holistic health coach for nearly 14 years now. And over the last 5 years, I've really focused on gut health as my area of specialty. And that started with my own gut healing journey and just a fascination for how giving a little bit of extra love and attention to my gut truly changed all of the things that had been sticking points in my own journey. So I have previously developed a course. It was called the Trust Your Gut Support Course. I've coached over 200 women on a path to healing their own gut. And so this is something that I'm extremely passionate about helping to get the word out about. I do have a lot of experience in this area. I've taken continuing education courses through my nutrition school on gut health. So it's kind of a passion project for me. And as many of you might know, I see a lot of fellow Beachbody people here on the call tonight. My sister is Autumn Calabrese, and she too, over the last several years, has been on a gut healing journey. And as a super trainer with Beachbody, she had the unique opportunity to talk to the company about her gut healing journey and about how this has impacted her health and about all of the people that she hears from, like you guys, on a day-to-day basis, and the challenges that so many of us face, and how educating more people on how they can better care for their gut, how they can start to go on a healing journey, could be truly transformative. And as a company, we are all about offering what we call the total solution. So we're not a weight loss company. We're not a fitness company. We're a wellness company. And our goal is to help people feel well, to optimize their health. And that's why we have all different styles of workouts. And that's why we have meditations and things that help people with stress management. And that's why we have multiple nutrition programs to meet people where they're at. Nutrition programs that offer opportunities for weight loss, as well as maintenance, as well as weight gain and muscle gain. We have programs for pregnancy. We really have something for everyone to meet you where you're at in the area that you need to help optimize your health and take it to the next level. And we have all kinds of supplements that work in conjunction with our nutrition, with our fitness, with our stress management. And all of these things are so important. And community, like all of us being here together on this call, we run our programs through groups and through coaches so that you also have like-minded people in a support system, because we know that when we add that element, people are so much more likely to get success, because they're so much more likely to stay consistent when they have that daily support and that daily encouragement. So it really is about the total solution. And the cool thing about offering a gut program now is that we're, for the first time ever, really, this is like the first time ever that we are putting all of those pieces together in one program. So there is a nutrition plan for this program. There are supplements to optimize your digestion and your nutrient absorption and to help repopulate the bacteria in your gut. There is a fitness program associated with it that specifically is low impact, because we know that exercise has a positive benefit on our gut health. That's a scientifically proven fact. But we also know that we need to manage our inflammation levels when we are working on healing our gut. So we've got fitness, we've got nutrition, and we've got supplementation, and we've got a community and support, all rolled into one complete package for the first time ever. So before I dive into the list of questions that I have from all of you, And I hope you guys have the chat box open because I really want this to be a conversation between us. I want to be answering your questions. I do want to explain a little bit more to you guys about the program, but first, I want to poll the audience. I want to poll those of you guys that are here, and I want to get to understand a little bit more about you and where you're at and why are you curious about gut health. So to make it the easiest, let's see if we can just do like a hand raise reactions. So if you guys see at the bottom of your screen, there is a little button that says reactions. There should be like a smiley face with a plus sign. And if you click on that, you'll be able to like throw up a heart or a thumbs up or like clapping hands, whatever it is. You can raise your hand. So I'm going to ask some questions and I want you guys to react so I can get a feel for who in the group is struggling with these different issues. So number one, let's just jump right into the meat of it and let's talk about the nitty gritty, and we're going to talk about poop. Okay? Because poop is probably the number one indicator of how healthy your digestion really is. And just to tell you guys how important this is, the program, the gut protocol that's going to be launching next week actually comes with a poop test. It's a not a test like you're going to send it in or submit it, but it's like a Myers-Briggs poop chart. And it gives you a description and a picture of all the different types of poop that you can have and what do they tell you about your digestive health. So just to keep it simple and not get into all the nitty gritty of what you guys are going to learn in this actual program. How many people do not use the restroom daily? How many people do not use the restroom daily? So you go at least 24 hours without having a bowel movement. Throw up a reaction, raise your hand, throw up a heart, throw up a thumbs up, whatever it is. Don't be embarrassed. No one can see you. Okay, I see 4 people so far, 5 people saying that they don't have a regular bowel movement. Okay, so for a lot of us, we've come to think that this is normal, right? We think that like, I just go every other day or I go every second or third day, but that's actually not normal. More people are raising their hands as we go. So it's actually not normal to skip a day of having a bowel movement. When we aren't having a daily bowel movement, what's happening is that there's actually toxins that are just building up and they're backing up in our systems and they're not being released. They're not being flushed out. And when that sits there long enough, over 24 hours, 48 hours, a couple of things can start to happen. Number one, the tissue in your colon and your lower intestines can start to reabsorb those toxins. So the toxins that your body pulled out and that were supposed to come out with that movement, they can get reabsorbed into the body. And so we can have a toxic buildup because we're not flushing toxins out. Another thing that can happen is that these digested foods that are meant to be waste and meant to come out of our bodies can actually start to mold and create other things, funguses and things like that. And it can really disrupt the microbiome of our gut. And just to be clear, when we talk about our gut, I'm not talking about your stomach. I think that's often slightly misconstrued. We think gut means we just think stomach, but it's actually your upper and your lower GI tract. So that includes your stomach, but it includes your small intestines, your large intestines, and most importantly, your colon. The big part of what we're talking about and referring to when we talk about gut health is actually our colon health. Okay, so this is why it's super important to be having a movement every day. If you're not having a movement 1 to 2 times a day, something is off in your system and it needs to be corrected. You're maybe eating something that's not sitting with you. You don't have the right balance of bacteria. Your bad bacteria are overgrown. You're dehydrated. You're not drinking enough water. There could be a lot of reasons for it. These are the types of things that we're going to learn in the gut protocol that is launching next week. And we're going to go on a 4-week journey to really tune into our bodies with a new level of knowledge and understand what are these different signals trying to tell us. So now I'd like to know, who has more than 2 bowel movements a day? Or when you have a movement, it's very loose. Okay, more people. So if it's loose, if it's watery, if it's diarrhea, more people, more people. Okay, this is actually more people than the people who are constipated or not having enough. This is really important as well, you guys. So if you're having multiple movements a day, like more than 2 to 3, if you're having 4 or more than that, definitely it's not a good sign. Or if when you go, it's very loose, it's watery, these are indications that your food is actually moving through your digestive system too quickly. So if you think about that, you might be thinking like, what's the big deal, right? You might think like, I actually have had clients who thought this. They're like, well, I go to the bathroom multiple times a day. So like, that's good because I'm just getting everything out. Like I'm just flushing out all the bad stuff, right? And that seems like common sense, right? But it's not. The problem is when it's moving too quickly through our system, we actually don't have enough time for our body to properly break it down where we can absorb the actual nutrients from our food. So if it's coming through too quickly, you're taking in all this healthy food, but if it's coming out 4, 5, 6 times a day, or if it's coming out watery and loose, that's a sign from your body that you're actually not properly processing your food. You're not absorbing all the good nutrients. So your food has to be broken down into its original components, like into, for example, like protein is made of 9 different amino acids, right? To get a little bit sciencey for a second. And in order for us, our body to use the protein to rebuild our muscles, it has to break it down when we eat it into those smaller chains that can then be reabsorbed and used to rebuild. So I'm reading your comments. Some of you guys are saying that you're both. Sometimes you'll be constipated for days at a time, but sometimes you'll have multiple movements in a day or it'll be really loose. That's actually very common. Again, this could be a sign that there are certain food sensitivities that you have that are triggering how your body's responding to your food. So you might be eating something that's creating a lot of inflammation and that's really backing you up. And that's why you're not going for a few days. And like we talked about, there's many reasons why that is not good. One being the reabsorption of toxins. Then you might eat a lot of fiber one day. And if you don't have the right good bacteria in your gut to help break all that down, it can create gas as your body tries to break it down. It can create diarrhea and it can make everything move through and come out way too quickly. And then you don't actually have it in your system long enough for it to be broken down to the point where you can absorb all of your nutrients. So this is your body's way of talking to you. And here's what is so cool. Gut health is a relatively new science, you guys. This is actually surprising, but it's really only been in the last 6 to 10 years that we've had the technology to truly study the bacteria in our gut to a level where we can start to understand what's really happening. And we can approach it from a more informed perspective. So you guys are like at the forefront because you are already paying attention to gut health and you're interested and you're ready to work on yours. And what we're going to get in this gut protocol that is launching next week is educational videos, 4 educational videos to start out with that help us to understand the foundational aspects of gut health. Because if you go out there and start researching it on your own, there is going to be such an abundance of new science and studies and information, and you are going to become incredibly overwhelmed trying to break it all down. I can tell you this from personal experience because I started my journey 5 years ago. I have a bookshelf over here full of like 12 different books And there was so much trial and error. Autumn will talk to you guys about this in her program, about all of the doctors she saw and all of the research that she read on her own and all of the experimentation that she had to do on her own body. It's just like I did on my own body to figure out like what works, what do we need to try, where do we focus? And this program has been expertly crafted by not just Autumn and her experience, but by an entire team of doctors and nutritionists and dietitians to simplify it into something that can be broken down into an easy to understand lifestyle that we can follow for 30 days to start to figure out what are these signals that our body is sending us and what do we do with them. So there's a concept called bioindividuality, and that means that every one of our bodies is unique. And we're not genetically destined to any one outcome. So while we do have our genetics and they can predispose us to certain conditions, it's actually your gut health that decides whether or not those certain genes get activated and turned on or deactivated and turned off. So what makes all of us unique as humans? We are more bacteria than we are human DNA. And it is those bacteria in our microbiome that play the biggest role in deciding what gets turned on and turned off. So you can have a genetic predisposition to something, but it's not your destiny. You have the opportunity to control most of those things via a healthy gut and a healthy gut microbiome. So how cool is that? And how empowering is that to know that you're actually in control of what happens with that? So, we have a family member who gets diagnosed with something. It can feel scary and overwhelming, and we can think like, oh no, is this my future? But it doesn't have to be. By healing your gut, you can actually change your genetics. You can not change what's in your DNA, but whether or not it is activated. And even things that have been turned on can be turned back off. So I was on a path to lupus 8 years ago when I started my healing journey. I was having my blood work done every 3 months. They were watching my numbers, trying to decide if they wanted to put me on medication. And when I started to change my diet to focus on healing and reducing my inflammation levels, I didn't truly understand the gut microbiome at that point yet. I was able to get my inflammation levels down so low that they were like, okay, you don't even need to get your blood work done. We don't need to watch it unless you start to be symptomatic again. So I turned off the inflammation by choosing the proper foods for my body. And so that's another thing that this program is going to help you to do. So we're going to work on eliminating the 7 most common foods that trigger digestive upset, inflammation, and disrupt our gut microbiome. So in the program, you're going to get an introductory video that explains a general overview of how the program works. Then there's going to be 4 lessons about gut health and food and nutrition. What are the foods we're eliminating, why, and what foods are we focused on eating? And there's going to be an actual nutrition plan. There's 20 unique recipes. There's an entire snack PDF. If you choose to follow the workout program that goes with it, at the end of every one of the workouts over the course of the 4 weeks is a gut-friendly snack recipe, live video with my brother and my sister making that together. So you're going to get recipes, you're going to get food lists that tell you which foods to avoid and which foods to focus on. So you're going to have very helpful guidance, but it's also not strict in the fact of it should not feel like you're on a diet. You're not going to be limited in your calorie intake. You're not going to be removing tons of food groups. We're going to be focusing on plant diversity. That is the number one predictor of gut health. So we'll be adding in a lot of plants, adding in a lot of foods. You'll be eating a lot of food. So you're not going to feel starved or hungry or deprived, because this is not a diet. This is a healing plan. And there's a big difference. Now, most people who've been part of the test group, who've gone through the program, have found that they've lost weight. If your body has weight to lose, then that will likely happen very naturally and organically through the healing process. So it will be a positive side effect if your body has weight to lose. Now, there are some people who are saying things like, but I feel great. I don't have any weight to lose. Is this even something for me? Do I even need this? Well, I can tell you this, that we all need this. Yes, Kat just said it. We all need this. Everybody out there can benefit from doing a little bit of healing work to up level your gut health, because as you're going to learn in the course, your gut health is so foundational to your immune system, your nervous system, your brain, and your cognitive function. So symptoms of gut health aren't limited to your gut. Gas and bloating, constipation and diarrhea, cramping after you eat, yes, those are some obvious signs that you are likely eating some foods that currently don't agree with your body, that you have some gut inflammation and some imbalances. You might be deficient in certain good gut bacteria. But there are a number of other signs that often happen before the gut symptoms even really start. Things like fatigue or chronic fatigue, headaches, migraines, PMS, painful periods and cramps, irritability and anxiousness, moodiness, difficulty processing stress and overwhelm, difficulties falling asleep or staying asleep, or at the end of the day where you feel like really tired but also really wired and you can't turn off your brain. Even hormone balances and infertility are tied to the health of our gut. So there are so many things that addressing your gut health can improve in your life. And if you feel like you don't have a single one of the symptoms that I just mentioned, just from the perspective of energy and vibrancy and skin health and how your cells and your body are being rebuilt from the foods that you're taking in, all of this is going to play a really amazing role in that. You're going to strengthen your immune system. You'll increase your energy. You'll see your skin start to glow at a new level, and you'll just feel better. We're all encountering damage to our gut on a daily basis. So some of the things that can damage your gut, toxins that are just naturally in the environment that we really, at this point in our world, can't necessarily avoid. They're in our water, they're in, a lot of the foods that we eat. So antibiotics and chemicals that, animals take antibiotics when they're being farmed. Animals eat grass and vegetables and things that have been treated with antibiotics or that have been treated with chemicals to avoid weeds, things like that. That gets stored in the tissue of the animal, and we absorb that when we eat the animals. But even a plant-based diet doesn't mean that you're not taking those things in, because there are toxins in our soil and in our water system. So we take it in from water, we take it in from fish, they can have high levels of mercury. We take it in from animals, the air we breathe, the paint on our walls, chemicals and dyes that our clothes are treated with. Lotions and perfumes and makeup are some of the biggest offenders. They're loaded with toxins that our bodies need to process out, right? So over time, those days of constipation where you reabsorb toxins, or having to be on a round of antibiotics, going through a particularly stressful time in life where your body struggles to truly do its detox work, because your liver helps process stresses and toxins. If you're going through a really stressful period in life, it's going to be more focused on helping your body manage and process the emotional stress. It's going to need to process the adrenaline and the cortisol that are going to be coursing through you all day. That makes it a little less available to process out the toxins that are coming in from the environment. So right now, while you might feel great, you could likely have a backup of all of those things starting to happen. So this is a great opportunity to create a little extra space, support your liver, support your digestive system so that they can be functioning at an optimal level. And let's be honest, guys, we've just come off of two of probably the most stressful years in recent world history. Everybody in life can benefit from a little extra TLC to their body right now. And that's why I want to basically implore you guys, if you are going to go on this gut healing journey with us over the next 4 weeks, I really want you to consider taking advantage of the low impact workout program that comes with it. So I love to work out. I love to work out hard. It feels good for my brain. It feels good for my anxious energy that I tend to have. I feel like it helps me manage my stress. I enjoy it. I enjoy working up that good sweat, getting red faced, and feeling like I pushed myself. I walk away feeling super accomplished. But we can't always be going at that level. Intense workout programs are amazing for periods of time, but our body needs balance. We need the yin and the yang. We need both. If you never go through a period where you back off and you allow your body the time to recover, you are going to plateau. And not only that, not only might you plateau, you set yourself up for injury. You create imbalances over time. I can't tell you how many people say to me things like, I'm on my 6th round of 80-day obsession back to back. Well, there's a part of me that's like, yes, good for you. You go. You are a badass. That is awesome. I also want to say, okay, now, can you promise to do a low impact workout next? We're so afraid of losing the results and the good feeling that we get from those challenging programs that we want to hold on to it and we don't want to let go. I know, again, 9-week control freak. So many people are like, this is my spirit animal program. I freaking love it. I'm on my 3rd round back to back. That's great. But it's too much of a good thing. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing. And you reach a point where it's too much. Your body can benefit immensely from 30 days of low impact workouts to allow some of the inflammation to leave your body. You need to change it up. It's not going to undo your results. It's going to enhance your results. What happens when you get that inflammation out of your body is all the muscle that you've been building is going to show up even more. You're going to see it as a whole, at a whole new level. You're going to have a new level of energy. These workouts are low impact. They're not low results. Just because you're not killing yourself and putting tons of impact on your joints doesn't mean you're not working. It doesn't mean you're not getting benefits. It doesn't mean you're not growing stronger. You 100% are. All of those things are still happening. Okay, I want to talk about the supplements and then I want to answer all of your questions. So I see, yeah, you're still going to get your butt kicked. And there's a sample workout that you guys can try. So whoever invited you to this call, whether it was me or another coach on our team, if you saw it on Instagram, we're so happy that you're here. If you want to try a 20-minute sample of what these 30-minute workouts are going to be like, so you can see that you're still going to work and it can just encourage you a little bit, we can send you out that link. Someone says, as we get older, do we develop food sensitivities? I feel like I'm sensitive to certain foods that I was not before. It has nothing to do with age. So let's clarify that. We associate a lot of these issues with age because it is the buildup of damage and toxins and inflammation over time that causes us to start to have the symptoms where our body finally starts to say, hey, here's what's happening. So it's not, that you're destined to have these problems because you're over 40 or over 50. It's that we've lived decades and decades of our lives without stopping to do healing work, without taking a break from the stress or from the inflammation, without doing any healing work. Many of us over the course of our life, how many antibiotics have most of us taken? And I'm not bashing antibiotics here. Like I just had to, antibiotics saved my life when I had a horrible liver infection a year and a half ago. Antibiotics are necessary, but most of us didn't realize that science didn't realize for a long time that when we take antibiotics, they don't just wipe out the bad bacteria, they also wipe out the good ones. And if we don't do anything to intentionally repopulate those and rebuild our gut microbiome, those imbalances stay with us and they become exacerbated over time with another round of antibiotics, another stressful period in our life. And the imbalances get worse and worse and worse. So just a quick little bit of science, Nicole, because I saw the question that you asked, and this is tied into the autoimmune issues. So over time, as these imbalances are happening in our gut, a lot of what happens is the gut lining, the cell wall, it's one cell thick, right? And there are these tight like interlocks, like a puzzle. And the inflammation and the endotoxins that are happening in our gut as we have these, different things like toxic buildups that we have, all the different things that I've talked about, the toxins we take in that cause inflammation, maybe foods that we're sensitive to that we don't realize we're sensitive to. So what happens is it starts to loosen these, right? And over time, they get these little micro tears or these little spaces. And then the food that's digesting within our GI tracts, it can start little protein particles from those foods, little digested particles can start to leak out through those gaps. And that right on the outside of our GI tract lives 70% of our immune system. And it's highly sensitive. It's constantly on alert looking for foreign invaders. Well, when things that are meant to never leave our GI tract, except through our colon, start to leak out and get into our bloodstream, our immune system goes, hey, alert, alert, alert. This is not supposed to be here. There are also toxins in our gut called endotoxins that are meant to help break things down and create different chemical processes that need to happen in the GI tract, but they're never meant to leave the gut. Well, when those loosenings of those latches happen and those endotoxins come out, they create an inflammatory bomb. And that can send inflammation throughout our whole body. It can create headaches, migraines, sinus issues, joint pain, all kinds of problems. So what's going to happen in this program is that we're going to learn what are some of the most common trigger foods and how do we remove them to allow healing. At the end of the 4 weeks, there's going to be a 2-week reintroduction period where there's a whole video that helps you understand how do you start to reintroduce these foods, because the goal isn't for you to eliminate these 7 foods for life. The goal is for you to eliminate them for healing. And I'm getting to your questions. I'm about to wrap this up. So the goal is for you to eliminate them for healing, and then you're slowly going to start to add them back in. Many of them you will now be able to tolerate without having to have those reactions, the gas, the bloating, the stomach cramping, the skin rashes, the headaches, the sinus inflammation. Some of them your body might say, no, sorry, not yet. And then that means there's some more healing work that needs to be done. So the point is that this is a lot of information. It's more than we can address in an hour call together. It's more than you can address on your own, researching on the internet, reading all the books that are out there, watching a million YouTube videos. It's going to be crazy and stressful and overwhelming. That's why the program, 4 weeks, guided, an introductory video to tell you exactly how to get started. And then 4 videos that we'll watch during prep week that will walk you through all the basics of what do you need to know about eliminating these foods, what foods are we going to try to eat, and how do you use the supplements. And then each week throughout the 4 weeks, there's going to be another video. So you're going to get the information spoon-fed to you in a digestible manner, pun intended, so that you can process it without overwhelm, because this shouldn't feel stressful. And then at the end of the 4 weeks, there is an optional 2-week reintroduction that you can follow. There's going to be a guided video to tell you exactly how to start to reintroduce those foods. And Joanne, this is when you're going to see truly what you might be sensitive to. So you do not need to take food sensitivity tests necessarily. That is for further down the line. I always recommend to all of my clients, and Autumn and I have both done food sensitivity testing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but even the doctors and the organizations that administer these tests, is often most helpful for you to first do some healing work on your own. Do a program like this where you start to learn your body. You start to do the investigative work to see, like, what are my triggers? How does my body let me know that this isn't agreeing with it, right? And then you eliminate it to create the space for healing, to stop the inflammation bomb long enough for your body to catch up, to add in the probiotics and the plant-based food that are going to help to repopulate those good gut bugs and bring things back into balance, and see what you can eliminate on your own first. If you just go out straight up and have food sensitivity testings, you might get a list of foods that's so overwhelming to eliminate that you wouldn't even know where to start. It would be debilitating. And honestly, to eliminate them all at once might not even be healthy or possible. It would make it hard for you to nourish yourself. So that's why we're starting with the 7 most common, and we're going to do some healing work, right? So you can, exactly what Kat just said, so you can start to self-advocate. You can start to learn to listen to your body. If you do this program 1 or 2 times through and you're still struggling, then you may have a sneaky food that's hard to identify that you haven't quite figured out. But I would argue that once you finish this program, you're really going to start to learn how to be your own investigator. So, for example, after I had COVID, I had a lot of digestive issues as a result. We know that that virus does attack the gut microbiome. And I had just come off of a surgery, a very stressful time in my life, and 3 intense rounds of antibiotic for a liver infection. So my gut was already, I was just starting to heal it. So it was not in a great place when I got it. So I started doing all my healing work, and I figured out a couple months in, every time I eat tomatoes, I'm burping all night long. I eliminated tomatoes and the burping stopped. After about 6 weeks of eliminating the tomatoes, I started to add them back in, small amounts at first, and I started to feel better. These are the kinds of things that once you start to do the healing and you go through the reintroduction phase that Autumn will teach you in the gut protocol, you will understand how to do all of that. You will understand how to assess that for yourself. You're going to learn how to track your symptoms and keep a food journal if you need to. So you're really going to become your own advocate. I'm trying to look through some of these questions. I'm going to ask you guys, if you asked a question that I haven't answered, if you'll retype it, because the chat is so active. Nicole said, I had a food sensitivity test through my doctor and it came back that I don't have any sensitivities, but I know that dairy and high acidic, even some nut foods, kill me. Again, there are different ways that the food sensitivity tests work. So they're looking for different things, inflammation levels, reactions to proteins, all kinds of different things. But Nicole, you know that you don't feel good when you eat dairy or highly acidic foods and some nuts. So you're going to avoid those, at least for a while you do something to rebuild your gut microbiome and to try to rebalance things out. That doesn't mean that you're going to have to eliminate them forever. It just means you're going to have to eliminate them for the time being. Now, there may be some that you never add back in. Like for me, I had 11 food sensitivities when I finally did my testing, and I've been able to add back in pretty much every single thing on the list except for dairy. My body still doesn't like dairy. So I just choose to eliminate dairy permanently because that is how I feel my best. Now, we've got about 20 minutes left. Let me answer some of the questions that you guys submitted to me in advance. One question was, is the 4-week gut health protocol an elimination diet? Technically, I guess yes, because we're eliminating the 7 most common foods that tend to cause digestive upset. So yes, we are eliminating food. Now, there are a lot of elimination diets out there. Some of them eliminate more foods than others. Many of them go through cycles where it's like these foods for a month and these foods for a month and these foods for a month. And it's an extensive commitment. This is a very short-term, minimal list of foods that we're eliminating to optimize our healing while we bring our good gut bacteria back into balance. And that's where the supplements come in, as well as the nutrition plan. Because what we're eating is going to determine what bacteria are going to be in our gut. It's the plant fibers is what the good bacteria in our gut eat. So as we take in plants and those fibers are good gut bacteria, they actually digest those, or they eat them when they're undigested by our body. And that creates more of those good bacteria, and it helps them to be vibrant and alive and thriving. When we don't eat certain food groups for long periods of time, those bacteria can basically go dormant. So that's why it's a short-term elimination diet. It's 4 weeks, and then we reintroduce. I can't tell you the list of the 7 that are in the program because I don't have the program yet. I just know that there are 7. I could speculate what I think they are, but I haven't seen the program yet. So we won't know that list of 7 until it actually comes out. Someone said, I'm having trouble sleeping. Could that be related to my gut? Oh my gosh, 100%. Absolutely, most definitely. So what's happening in your gut is where all the chemical processes that trigger all of our hormones get started. It starts with signals that come from the gut, and they travel out through the body, through the nervous system, and also up the vagus nerve, which goes directly to our brain. The vagus nerve has a direct line from the brain to the gut, and it actually has more nerves than your spinal cord. Melatonin is a hormone. It has to be triggered by different things, from sunlight to processes that start happening in our gut. So we can have hormone imbalances as a result of gut imbalances. Your melatonin can be out of balance. That can impact your sleep. And there's a lot of other aspects of it that could impact your sleep, including inflammation and how that can trigger a racing mind, because that inflammation from your gut, if you're taking in foods that you're sensitive to, if you have a overabundance of bad bacteria, that inflammation can travel right up that vagus nerve and create inflammation throughout your nervous system and in your brain. Yes, Amber, the reintroduction is huge, and the program is only 4 weeks, and then you get to start reintroducing foods. Okay, I didn't see the question about the different proteins, but let me get to these other questions. Will I have to give up alcohol and carbs to be on this program? Yes and no. So you will have to give up alcohol on the 4-week gut protocol. And let me just put it like this. So I actually spoke to this topic on my Instagram in a live yesterday, because I've had so many people saying, like, I just can't give up alcohol. Like, there's this special occasion or Easter or whatever it is. And here's what I want to say to you. How many of you have gone to a special occasion or a special function or a holiday feeling like crap? How many of you have gone to something like that thinking, I'm worried about what I'm going to eat. I know I'm going to end up with stomach pains and cramps, but I'm just going to do it anyways. Or you finished a holiday dinner or a special dinner out and you had a headache, or you had diarrhea, or you were constipated, or you had cramps, or you were exhausted. You slept like crap that night. You just felt like garbage. I think every one of us can say we felt like that at some point. Giving up the alcohol for this 30 days is a gift to your body. Giving it up, that wine, for one Easter so that you can feel good on all the rest of your Easters moving forward, is a very minimal sacrifice, okay? You're giving it up for a short period of time so that you can feel better for all your other special occasions, so that you can eat without worrying about, am I going to need to unbutton my pants? Am I going to be so bloated after I finish this meal? Am I going to have a headache? Am I going to sleep like shit? Right? You're giving it up for a very short period of time. Does that mean it's going to be easy? No. For a lot of people, it'll be hard. I know in my groups, I've already got a whole list of tools that we're going to use to help break the habit and to help fill the gap when we want to reach for that glass of wine and we want to reach for that drink, to help us have something to go to, because we need to replace it. If you're used to that glass of wine signaling the end of the day and time to relax, and suddenly it's taken away from you, that can feel very stressful. So we want to sub something else in so that we can make this as doable as possible. No, you do not have to give up carbs. There are definitely carbs on this program. You are definitely going to eat carbs. You are not going to eat processed carbs. So we're not going to be eating like breads or baked goods on this program, but you will be eating carbohydrates. They are a major macronutrient and our bodies need them. What are the supplements that come with the program and do we really need them? I'm so excited about this. And I'm going to tie this into the next question, which aren't the supplements with the program the same as what's in Shakeology? So let's specifically speak to this. Okay, so the supplements that are included with the program are three things. Vegan Shakeology. It needs to be vegan because we do know, they said this when they talked about the supplements and why do we have to have vegan Shakeology, that dairy is one of the 7 foods that we'll be giving up for the 4 weeks. Regular Shakeology is made with whey, which is a dairy protein. So you need to have the plant-based Shakeology. So that's the first supplement that we'll be using. And Shakeology is loaded with fiber, which feeds your good gut bacteria. It also does have digestive enzymes in it. It specifically has digestive enzymes that are focused on helping your body to break down carbohydrates because Shakeology is so full of fiber. It has a really high fiber content coming from carby sources. So the digestive enzymes that are in Shakeology are focused on breaking down carbs for your body. And then there are probiotics in there as well that help with gut health. So Shakeology is a great resource for the program. Then we're also going to be taking something called Optimize. These are digestive enzymes, again, but they are different than what's in your Shakeology, and this is why you need them. There are digestive enzymes that help your body to break down carbohydrates, digestive enzymes that help your body to break down proteins, and digestive enzymes that help your body to break down fat. The Optimize has a balance of digestive enzymes that are going to help your body specifically break down the types of foods that we're going to be eating from our food list and our meal plans. So there's more for helping you to break down the proteins and the good healthy fats. And that's what you really need. Digestive enzymes are so powerful. Most people, when they start to take them, they immediately start to notice a difference in their bowel movements. They start to notice a difference in their gas and bloating, and they start to notice a difference in their energy. What happens with the digestive enzyme is it helps your body to break down those foods so that the nutrients can actually be absorbed. So remember I said sometimes if your bowel movements are happening too fast or your stool is really loose, you're not absorbing the nutrients from your food because it doesn't have time to break down to small enough components for your body to absorb it. The digestive enzymes are going to help with that process. So you will take them 30 minutes before your 3 daily meals, before breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And this will help your body, number one, break down your food to a small enough level that you can adequately absorb all of the amazing nutrients that you're eating. Number two, it takes a little bit of the burden off of your digestive system, and that creates more space for it to properly digest without getting backed up, without getting gassy, without getting bloated, and it helps keep things moving. So that's the second supplement. And then the third supplement is Revitalize, which is a probiotic. And this is specially formulated with inulin from chicory root, which is a prebiotic, which just means it's food for the good gut bacteria. And then it also has Bacillus coagulus, which is a specific probiotic strain that has been studied for gut healing. It is one that is extremely important for healing the gut lining and helping to tighten those puzzle pieces and those notches back up so that your digestive food isn't leaking out into your bloodstream and triggering your immune system, so that endotoxins that are meant to stay in your digestive tract and in your gut aren't leaking out and creating inflammation bombs. So yes, you need the supplements, I believe. Now, you can get, no, it's very different from chicory root tea. So chicory root tea is not going to have the fiber. It's the fiber that the good gut bacteria need. So, I mean, chicory root tea is good for digestion, but it's not meeting the purposes of what we're talking about here, to feed those good gut bacteria and help them to flourish and repopulate themselves and multiply. I lost my train of thought, but okay. So what I was going to say was, if you choose to do the program without the supplements, you will still get benefits. You will still get a lot of benefits from eliminating trigger foods, reducing your inflammation, taking in more plants, and following the nutrition plan and the clean recipes. It will bring your inflammation levels down. It will start to awaken some good gut bacteria that's been dormant, and you will experience benefits. But I say, if you're going to put the 4 weeks in to going through the nutrition plan and to working to optimize and heal your gut, just go all in, because these supplements truly are a game changer. You're going to be eating all this healthy food, but if you're not breaking it down enough to absorb the nutrients, it's like taking a vitamin that your body can't absorb and you just pee it out. It's kind of like wasting your money, right? So if you can do the supplements, please do them. They are going to help you at such an advanced level. I have a few more questions that people sent to me. I'm trying to find them. I know one question was about coffee, and can you have coffee on the plan? And the answer is yes. Caffeine is moderated. So there's a certain amount of caffeine that you're not going to be going over, but you can have your coffee. Let's see. Another question was about chewing gum. So, I mean, I don't think gum is contraindicated on the program. It's not that you can't have it, but I will say this. Digestion starts in your mouth when you start to chew, and it builds up that saliva. And that sends a signal to your gut that food is coming, and the acid in your stomach starts to work so that it can start to digest the food. So when you chew gum, you're telling your body that food's coming that needs to be digested, but no food is actually coming. So I would say that while you're doing this program, if you could minimize gum chewing, it is going to help, because you're not going to be activating your digestive system unnecessarily when it's not meant to be being used. And that can create imbalances in your stomach acid. I do know that you can have Energize in the program. Autumn said that you can have Energize. It's not taken away. So things that I know you can have on the program: vegan Shakeology, but not whey. You can have vegan Recover, but not the whey Recover. So no orange Recover. You can have Energize. You can have all of the Shakeology boosts, like the greens boost and all of those digestive boosts, all those things that you can put as boosting your Shakeology. You can have all of those. You can have creatine and daily sunshine. You cannot have bevy or focused bevy. And I believe that's because it's made with a corn product. And I think corn is going to be one of the foods that we eliminate as well. But you do not have to eliminate your Energize. Now, if you're normally in Energize multiple times a day, or if you drink a lot of coffee and Energize, you may have to cut back on your coffee in order to keep your Energize. Jennifer, you can have Hydrate. Yes, Hydrate is approved. You will want to pay attention to this. This will be gone over in the videos, but there is a sugar limit for the day, because sugar can be inflammatory beyond a certain point. So all of our products like Shakeology and Energize are formulated with small amounts of sugar. So it's because you're using those when you work out, and that's getting burnt off in your workout, right? But if you're consuming a ton of sugar, then you can't use it all. And then it gets stored as fat. And it also creates inflammation in the body. So you wouldn't necessarily want to have Shakeology, Energize, Hydrate, and Recover all in one day. That will probably go over the allotted sugar that Autumn gives to the program. So just so you guys know, that's something to take into consideration. You're going to want to prioritize the things that you want to have on certain days. You shouldn't really need Recover if you're following the workouts that go with the program. So that frees up plenty of space for you to have your Energize and your Shakeology. And if you like to have Hydrate, you could probably have that as well. I know you can't have Focused Bevy, but you can have the Focused Energy Boost. So if you're someone who currently relies on Focused Bevy, then you probably are going to want to swap it out for the Focused Energy Boost that you can scoop into your Shakeology. And that is going to be your substitute, because the vegan Shakeology and the Focused Energy Boost are both approved, but the Bevy is not approved. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Any other questions? Okay, do you have to pay for the Gut Protocol program if you pay for BOD? Yes, Elizabeth, you do. So this is its own standalone program. When you purchase the Gut Protocol, you are going to get, you don't have to have BOD to get the Gut Protocol. So like, if you just want to do the Gut Protocol and you're not interested in workouts or anything like that, you can purchase it as a standalone thing all by itself. If you already have BOD, there are different package options where you're going to get the videos for the Gut Protocol, all the digital stuff, and you can buy the supplements as their own little package. But it is something that is separate, and you will have to choose from one of the packages to get access. So it's not something that's going to be like coming to BOD. You know, sometimes like when, 645 launched, and it launched in July, but then in like October, everybody got access to it on BOD. It's not like that. It's its own standalone thing. Yes, kind of like 2B Mindset. Can you get an extra set of supplements for the amount that is needed for the program? I would like my hubby to do this with me. Yes. So there is a standalone package for the supplements for Optimize and Revitalize. And you can just add that on to whatever you're ordering for yourself. Also, I did want you guys to know, because some of you have done the Ultimate Reset in the past, that Optimize and Revitalize, if you've used them in the past, a lot of my clients have been using them for a while because they're so important to gut health. These are supplements that I use every single day. If you have the set from Ultimate Reset, those are designed for Ultimate Reset, which is a 21-day program. And this is a 4-week program. They're also designed to be used differently. So you take more supplements with the Gut Protocol than you do with Ultimate Reset. So while if you have those supplements lying around, you could use them, you're going to need to order more. So don't rush out today and go try to order those supplements online. The Gut Protocol packages aren't available until March 15th. If you order them now, you're not going to have enough for the 4 weeks or the amount that you take. So I just want to make sure everybody knew that. Sorry, my dog's barking to go out. So that you don't go and order those today because you're super excited, and then you realize halfway through the program you don't have enough of the supplement. So the Gut Protocol package is going to give you enough for the 4 weeks plus how many you need to take a day. And you can stay on the supplements once you finish the program. That will be part of the reintroduction process. Like I said, like I've worked on healing my gut for years. I take Optimize and Revitalize every single day because they're just amazing supplements and they're very high quality. If you happen to be in Canada or the UK, they're not currently available in those markets. We are working on getting them there. Autumn does give you recommendations in the videos that go with the program for what to look for and what supplements to take. And I know that I have a list that I'll be posting in my accountability group as we go through this, because we're going to do a whole week of prep before we even get started. We'll watch the videos together. I'll answer all your questions. We'll make sure you get your supplements ordered in time to have them for day one. And so we will make recommendations to you guys for those. Jennifer, it's going to be all included in the program. So if your Canada customers order it on the 15th, they'll be able to see the introduction video right on that day, see what they need to order, and they'll be able to find it and place their order. So Autumn tells you like exactly which strains of probiotics to look for, exactly which digestive enzymes you need. So like I said, you need it to have all 3: protease, amylase. You want to make sure you're having the ones that help you digest fat, protein, and carbs. So there should be 3 different ones. But that will all be included for those of you guys that are in France, UK, or Canada. So it's 5 o'clock. I've answered all of your questions. I think I've hopefully adequately explained the gist of the program, why you might need this, why you want to do this. I would love to see some hands. Who is planning to commit to the 4-week gut protocol? I'm calling March 15th commitment day. March 28th, we start prep week, and April 4th, I start my group. Now, I know there's some different coaches that their dates are a little bit different, but March 15th is the all-in day where we're going to commit. I love to see this. I see 10 people who said they committed. There's 32 people on this call. I hope that every single one of you guys will make a commitment to this, because I promise you, I didn't even show testimonies on this call. The testimonies are so much more than the external transformation. It's the internal transformation of, like when Nicole asked the question about aging and food sensitivities, we just have accepted certain things as a way of being. We've accepted feeling less than our best. We've just decided that like this is part of getting older or part of being a tired mom. But that's not true. It doesn't have to be that way. You don't even know. Most of us have no idea how good our bodies are truly designed to feel, but this program is going to show you. I did see someone say that they were pregnant, and here's what I know about pregnancy in this program. You can do it. It is safe for pregnancy. Obviously, you should still always get things like that approved with your doctor, your supplements and the nutrition, but it is technically safe for pregnancy. The only thing is, because you have so many hormones happening when you're pregnant, you might not truly know if like a food sensitivity is happening or if it's something to do with your hormones. You know, like maybe you have acne or a rash or a headache. It could be hormone related from the pregnancy and not related to the food. So going through the program would be very healthy and great for you. Your baby's gut microbiome starts with you. So your baby's gut microbiome is going to come from the quality of your gut microbiome now, and also the birthing process. So one of the ways that babies get exposed to a lot of the good bacteria that they need is going through the birthing canal. You can even talk to your doctors if you have to have C-sections about ways to still get those good bacteria to your baby if you have to have a C-section, because they can actually like take them from your body and give them to the baby. But you can safely do it if you're pregnant, but you should always talk to your doctor first. And you could always wait and do it afterwards as well. So, okay. Hopefully I've answered all of your questions. If something else pops into your head afterwards, feel free to shoot me an email or a DM, and I'll be happy to get back to you. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Now, Sherry, I didn't say you had to give up red meat. I just want to make sure that's clear. This is not a vegan program. It's not even a vegetarian program. You are allowed to eat meat and fish on the program. So I just want to make sure that I clear that up in case there was any confusion, because I'm plant-based, but the gut protocol is plant-focused, but not vegan. So you can still have animal products. Okay, awesome. I just want to make sure we cleared that up. And yes, I did record this, and I will be sure to post the recording in case anybody needs to send it out to anyone else to check out. So yeah, Autumn just had steak the other night, like Kat said. So not a vegan plan at all. You will be eating maybe more plants than you normally eat, but you can still have your animal products. So thanks so much for joining me, everybody. I hope to see you in one of our gut protocol groups. If nothing else, I would love for you to tag me on your journey and let me know how your healing is going. I cannot wait for you guys to see how good your bodies can feel. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you guys soon.